Chosen one, your spirit already knows why you're here. You can feel it, can't you? That quiet trembling inside your chest, that pulse beneath your skin, like something in the unseen just shifted and whispered your name. For months, maybe years, you felt the tension building around you, the strange resistance, doors that almost opened but didn't, people who smiled in your face but vanished when you needed them most. You've watched others rise using lies and manipulation, while you stood in silence, wondering why doing good seems to draw so much darkness. But tonight, heaven wants you to understand the law behind it all. The reason every trap set for you will eventually catch its maker. This law has a name, and by the end of this message, you'll know it. It's called the inversion key, the hidden principle that governs divine justice. You've noticed the pattern, haven't you? Every time you get close to peace, chaos knocks louder. Every time you heal, another storm tries to pull you back. The reason the pressure feels unbearable is because you're standing at the hinge of reversal. The pit they dug for you is aligning perfectly beneath their own feet. The words they use to wound you are becoming the echoes that expose them. Remember what's written in Proverbs 26, verse 27. Whoever digs a pit will fall into it, and if someone rolls a stone, it will roll back on them. This isn't superstition, it's the equilibrium of heaven itself. You felt the energy shift before something went wrong, that chill before betrayal, that heaviness in your chest before a storm. It wasn't fear, it was recognition. Your spirit saw the snare before your mind could name it. The pain you've endured is not proof of failure, but proof of identification. Heaven marks its soldiers by fire, and the greater your calling, the more elaborate the trap appears, because darkness only invests where destiny is certain. At the end of this message, I will reveal the inversion key, the divine pattern that flips every weapon, every curse, every betrayal into your elevation. But before we reach that revelation, you must understand what the trap truly is, how it forms, and why heaven allows it. If you feel this in your spirit, if something inside you says this message is for me, type in the comments, I claim divine reversal. That's not just a phrase, it's an act of alignment, a signal to heaven that you're ready to see justice unfold. Because once you learn how the inversion key works, you'll never fear the snare again. You'll stand at the edge of every attack and smile, because you'll know that what was meant to destroy you is about to build you. Chosen one. Every trap begins as a whisper, not a loud one, a subtle one. It starts in places you once felt safe, in conversations that sound innocent, in opportunities that look divine, in faces that seem familiar. But remember this, darkness doesn't always arrive dressed in shadows. Sometimes it wears light. You've seen it before. The person who said, I just want to help you, while quietly feeding off your peace. The friend who celebrated your failure louder than your success. The moment you shared your dream, and suddenly, everything you loved began to crumble. These weren't coincidences, they were constructions, spiritual mechanisms built to drain your faith, test your discernment, and make you doubt your own vision. The enemy never wastes a snare on the ordinary. Only the chosen draw this kind of warfare. Because when you enter a room and speak your truth, observe what happens. People who were smiling start avoiding your eye contact. Conversations stop mid-sentence. The atmosphere becomes tense. Your light is exposing the masks they wear, and that disturbs them more than any direct accusation ever could. Your growth threatens their control, and when they can't destroy your destiny, they'll try to distract you from it. This is how the trap forms. First, through manipulation, false empathy that feels comforting at first. Then, through temptation, a shortcut that looks too perfect to be true. And finally, through exhaustion, when you fought so long that surrender feels like peace. 3 stages, 3 designs, but every single one leads to the same purpose, to make you question the promise over your life. Picture this, it's late at night, and you're replaying a conversation that left you uneasy. Something in their tone felt off, but you ignored it. Now your chest feels heavy. Your thoughts spiral, and the room seems colder than before. That feeling is not paranoia. It's a spiritual vibration, heaven alerting you that a snare is near. And yet, this awareness is already your weapon. Remember when Jesus said, "Be wise as serpents and harmless as doves"? Wisdom doesn't come from fear. It comes from recognition. It means seeing the trap and refusing to step into it, even when it's wrapped in beauty. This is why discernment often feels lonely. Because when you recognize what others celebrate, they call you distant. When you walk away from manipulation, they call you cold. But heaven calls you guarded. And in a world full of illusion, guarded means chosen. Every time you sense that tightening in your chest before you speak, that hesitation before you say yes, listen to it. That's not anxiety. That's alignment. It's your spirit catching what your mind missed. It's heaven whispering, "Don't step there." When you understand this, the snare loses its power. You stop reacting in fear and start moving in wisdom. You stop chasing validation and start choosing peace. And peace, chosen one, is what collapses the trap. Because traps can't exist where awareness lives. They depend on your blindness. They feed on your need to be understood, accepted, or loved by those who were never meant to hold your heart. But now you see it clearly, and seeing is breaking. This connects directly to the inversion key I mentioned earlier, because the moment you recognize the trap, it begins to reverse. The energy that was meant to drain you starts collapsing in on itself. And the same mouths that spoke against you will soon testify for you. Say this out loud: "No trap can hold what heaven has released." Let it echo through your room. Because awareness is your first act of war, and truth is the sword that cuts every snare. Chosen one, before every fall of darkness, heaven sends a signal. It doesn't come through thunder or lightning. It comes quietly, like a ripple in your spirit that only the awakened can feel. And if you've been paying attention lately, you've noticed it. You wake in the middle of the night for no reason, heart racing, mind clear. You feel someone's name cross your thoughts out of nowhere, only to discover later they were speaking of you. Or you walk into a room and the atmosphere shifts so sharply it's almost physical. That's not coincidence. That's the sign. When traps are near, the spirit warns you through your senses. It's the chill that runs through your arms when someone smiles falsely. It's the sudden fatigue that hits after a conversation that looked harmless. It's the heaviness in your chest when you're about to step into something that isn't meant for you. You were not made to live blind. You were made to feel the unseen. Remember what's written in John 16, verse 13. The Spirit of truth will guide you into all truth. That means guidance doesn't always arrive in words. Sometimes it arrives as silence that feels wrong. Sometimes it's peace that suddenly disappears. That's heaven redirecting your steps before harm finds you. Have you noticed the pattern? Every time something destructive was about to happen, your peace left first. Every betrayal, every loss, every heartbreak, all of them were preceded by a flicker of knowing. That wasn't hindsight, that was foresight. Research on decision-making shows something fascinating. Choices made in less than 3 seconds are often more accurate than hours of analysis. You know why? Because your body already processed the energy of the situation before your mind tried to rationalize it. That knot in your stomach when you meet someone new isn't anxiety. It's spiritual intelligence in action. This is why discernment isn't a gift for the elite. It's the birthright of every chosen one. It's the frequency of heaven resonating through your intuition. And when you ignore it, life starts teaching through pain what you could have learned through presence. Pause. Do this now. Look around the environment where you are. Count mentally 5 objects that are blue. Found them. Now notice, your brain filtered out everything that wasn't blue. Discernment works exactly like this. When you decide to focus on truth, your mind automatically begins filtering what is false. It's a muscle you train with attention. So here's a truth many forget. When you feel discomfort in a place that once felt safe, it's not that you've changed. It's that the energy has. Your spirit has outgrown the environment. The air that once fed you now stifles you. and heaven is urging you to move before stagnation becomes suffocation. Right now, think of one place, one relationship, or one habit that drains your peace every time you return to it. That's the sign. It's not always a warning of destruction. Sometimes, it's an invitation to rise. When your soul can no longer breathe in a certain space, it's because that space no longer matches your vibration. This is where awareness becomes weaponry, because once you can see the signs, you stop walking into familiar fire expecting new warmth. You stop mistaking history for destiny. You stop calling comfort peace when it's really permission to stay small. The inversion key I told you about begins working the moment you respond differently to the same temptation. That's when heaven intervenes. That's when the trap flips. Every snare collapses the second you stop giving it attention. You don't have to fight the people setting the traps. You only have to obey the signs that keep you away from them. Peace is proof of presence. Chaos is proof of deception. When peace leaves a room, your spirit should too. Remember this, chosen one. Heaven doesn't speak in panic, it speaks in patterns. And those patterns are leading you toward the moment of reversal. Chosen one. The traps weren't built to destroy you, they were designed to reveal who you truly are. Identity isn't discovered in peace, it's forged in pressure. Every battle you've faced has been refining fire, not punishment. Have you noticed it? The more intense the opposition, the clearer your vision becomes. The more rejection you face, the sharper your discernment grows. And the lonelier the road feels, the louder heaven's voice sounds. That's not abandonment, that's calibration. Before destiny manifests, identity must solidify. Darkness recognizes you long before you recognize yourself. That's why attacks often begin before you understand your purpose. The enemy always strikes early, because if you ever remember who you are, the war ends. You begin to change your habits, speak differently, dream bigger, and suddenly, resistance rises. People pull away. Old patterns lose flavor. What once felt familiar now feels foreign. That's not rejection. That's transformation. You're being extracted from imitation to step into authenticity. Remember Jeremiah 1 verse 5. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Your identity is older than your name. It existed before your trauma, before your mistakes, before every label the world tried to attach to you. You are not what happened. You are what emerged. Think of it this way, 3 months ago, you could sit in empty conversations and feel normal. Now, 10 minutes of that same talk makes you feel drained, almost nauseous. It's not arrogance, it's evolution. Your frequency shifted and everything below it now repels you. And when you start rising, notice how resistance multiplies. You wake earlier to pray, and chaos visits before sunrise. You decide to fast, and temptations line up at your door. That's not coincidence. That's confirmation. The spiritual system has detected your promotion. Every trap targets your memory. Not the mind's memory, but the soul's. Because if darkness can make you forget who you are, you'll live your life chasing what was already yours. You were chosen before time began. Awakening is remembrance, and remembrance itself is rebellion. Every time you remember, you dismantle systems designed to contain you. So yes, life feels strange lately. You're not losing your mind, you're shedding your disguise. Conversations that once comforted you now exhaust you. The things that used to entertain you now irritate your spirit. You've outgrown imitation. Heaven is resizing your environment to match your truth. Say this: I am not the target. I am the trigger that exposes darkness. Every trial, every betrayal, every delay. None of it came to bury you. It came to unveil you. You don't grow through applause. You grow when silence forces you to hear your own power. The attacks against you weren't random. They were reactions. Proof that the light within you isn't ordinary. And once awakened, it cannot be hidden again. If you recognize this transformation in yourself right now, leave a fire emoji in the comments. No need to explain. It's a silent signal among chosen ones who understand what's unfolding. Because identity remembered is power restored. And once you know who you are, heaven can finally reveal what's next, your divine weapon. Chosen one. Every warrior of light carries a weapon that no darkness can imitate. It's not made of steel or fire. It's not a sword you can hold or a shield you can raise. It's something far greater, the word that leaves your mouth. Because your weapon is sound. Creation began with a voice, not motion. And that same frequency lives in you. When you speak from alignment, heaven responds. When you declare truth in the middle of the storm, reality bends to your tone. Every word you release carries power in realms unseen. You've noticed this, haven't you? One prayer shifts your day. One declaration spoken in faith calms the chaos around you. That's not coincidence. It's the science of vibration meeting the law of faith. Your voice is not just communication, it's construction. Words are not harmless. They shape form, atmosphere, and outcome. There are studies that recorded how words affect the molecular structure of water crystals. When love and gratitude were spoken, the crystals formed perfect geometric patterns. When fear and hate were spoken, the structures fractured into chaos. This isn't mysticism, it's physics. Your voice literally rearranges matter. So imagine what happens when you speak truth over your life. Think about it. How many times have you said, "I can't take this anymore," and felt weaker instantly? And how many times have you whispered, "I'll get through this," and felt peace return? That's not psychology, that's authority. Heaven designed your voice to echo divine power. Now, test it physically. Place your hand on your chest, right in the center. Say out loud with conviction, "I am light." Feel that vibration under your hand. Now say it again, but this time, add fear or doubt. Do you feel how the vibration changes? That's proof. Emotion alters frequency. Faith produces coherence. Your words don't just describe your world, they direct it. Remember what's written in Proverbs 18, verse 21. Life and death are in the power of the tongue. Your speech isn't casual, it's creative. Heaven built you as an architect, not a spectator. So when darkness tries to silence you, it's not after your comfort, it's after your construction. This is why silence feels heavy. Every time you stop speaking truth, falsehood grows around you. But when you speak with conviction, everything aligns again. The power isn't only in what you say, it's in how you say it. You can't speak fear and expect faith to move. You can't curse your path and expect blessings to bloom. Speak as one who already knows the outcome, because heaven recognizes its warriors by sound, not sight. Whisper these words now. Let every trap reverse. Say it again, slower. Feel the calm spreading through your body. That's alignment. Every time you declare truth, the invisible structure around you begins to rebuild. When the battle feels loud, don't shout back in panic. Speak with precision. When doubt whispers, answer with identity. When fear attacks, reply with faith. Darkness only understands authority, and authority lives in your voice. But every weapon must be tested before it's trusted. And the next season of your life will refine your sound. It won't break you, it will tune you. Because heaven is preparing you not to fight harder, but to speak stronger. And when your voice matches your calling, the battle ends, not with noise, but with stillness. Chosen one, every revelation must be proven. Every promise must pass through pressure. The test isn't punishment, it's preparation. And when heaven allows the silence, it's because your strength is being refined in secret. This is the season of stillness. You pray, and heaven seems quiet. You wait, and doors refuse to open. People disappear. Plans stall. You start to wonder if you've been forgotten. But silence doesn't mean absence, it means construction. When heaven is quiet, it's rearranging the stage for your next appearance. You're not being buried, you're being planted. And like any seed, you must go unseen before you rise. Even the greatest leaders walked through silence before their revelation. Think of Moses, called to deliver a nation, yet hidden for 40 years in the desert. That wilderness wasn't wasted. It was training. The solitude shaped his strength. The stillness sharpened his hearing. And when his moment came, his voice carried the weight of heaven itself. Your wilderness serves the same purpose. Every delay, every disappointment, every unanswered prayer, none of it is random. Heaven never promotes without testing. Power without process becomes pride. That's why this season feels heavy. It's purifying you for the weight of what's next. Now, recognize this. Every test has 3 stages: fast, intense, and divine in sequence. First, isolation. You lose what made you feel safe. People drift away. The familiar fades. You start walking with nothing but faith. Second, accusation. Your silence is misunderstood. They call you distant, proud, or cold. They can't see that your quiet is obedience. Third, restoration. Everything that left begins to return, multiplied, purified, reordered. But this time, it doesn't control you. You own it. You've mastered it. Which stage are you in? If you're in isolation, be patient. Roots grow downward before trees rise upward. If you're in accusation, stay still. Truth doesn't argue, it endures. If you're in restoration, stay humble. What's returned isn't a prize, it's a purpose. Pause. Now, take a moment. Breathe in slowly, counting to 4. Hold that breath for 4. Exhale through 6. Again. Inhale. Hold. Release. Do you feel your body calm? That's not just relaxation, that's recalibration. The test doesn't demand endless strength. It teaches you how to return to center when chaos screams. That breath is a holy weapon, a gift from heaven to anchor you when everything shakes. Remember Exodus 14 and verse 14. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Stillness isn't weakness, it's warfare in silence. Endurance is evidence. You're not being tested to prove your worth, you're being trained to hold more light. Every trial is fire, and while it burns, it purifies. Fear rises and leaves. Pride melts away. What remains is clean, stable, and unbreakable. Chosen one, your silence isn't empty, it's sacred. Heaven isn't testing your pain tolerance, it's testing your trust threshold. And when you choose peace over panic, you pass. Because right after the silence comes the shift. And that shift is where everything that was built against you begins to fall apart under its own weight. The turning point is near, and heaven is ready to flip the script. Chosen one, every storm reaches a moment when the wind changes direction. It doesn't begin with thunder, it begins with stillness. The silence you feel now isn't emptiness, it's transition. Heaven is shifting the weight from your shoulders to your favor. This is divine reversal. The trap that was meant to capture you is closing on those who built it. The very words spoken to discredit you are revealing truth. What was stolen begins to return, not as pity, but as proof. This is the law of spiritual inversion. What goes out in deception returns in exposure. What rises in pride bows in humility, and what rises against the chosen must eventually fall beneath them. You see this happening already. That co-worker who whispered lies, now facing the investigation they wished upon you. The friend who stole your idea, watching the project collapse. The door that slammed shut, leading you toward an opportunity 3 times greater. This isn't coincidence, it's spiritual physics. The field of cause and consequence realigning itself under heaven's command. Remember Genesis 50 verse 20. What you meant for evil, God turned for good. Joseph said those words after betrayal, slavery, and prison. Not from pain, but from the throne. Because the same system that oppressed him became the one that crowned him. The same is unfolding for you. Every trap became your classroom. Every delay trained your discernment. Every rejection redirected your purpose. Heaven wastes nothing. It transforms everything. Pain becomes a portal. Loss becomes language. Loneliness becomes light. You didn't just survive the fire, you learned to walk through it without burning. You didn't just outlast betrayal, you learned how to bless in silence. You didn't just endure isolation, You learn to hear heaven without noise. Those aren't scars. They're signatures of divine endurance. And here lies the mystery of reversal. You rise not for revenge, but for revelation. You rise to prove that the laws of the Spirit are real, that what was sent to break you has become the material of your rising. Heaven flips the script not to humiliate your enemies, but to demonstrate truth, that light doesn't just win, it transforms the entire battlefield. So, don't rush to announce your victory. Let time speak. Let fruit testify. Divine justice doesn't need applause. It manifests as alignment. It restores quietly what noise tried to destroy. Take a slow breath. The worst has passed. The lesson has done its work. You are standing on new ground, where peace is inheritance and favor is language. Everything you endured was guiding you here, to this threshold. The trap collapsed, the fire cooled, the night surrendered to light. Now it's time to reveal what's been hidden all along, the secret that governs every reversal, every victory, every resurrection. It's time to unlock the inversion key. Chosen one, this is the moment heaven prepared you for. You've walked through the trap, the sign, the silence, and the shift. Now it's time to see what was hidden behind it all. The inversion key. The inversion key is simple but absolute. Every force born in darkness carries within it the seed of its own collapse. Evil cannot sustain itself in the presence of divine order. When something rises against what heaven has ordained, it reverses its own energy. It turns on itself. That's why every betrayal, delay, and disappointment was secretly designed to build your elevation. You don't have to fight to activate this law. You only have to stand in truth. Because alignment is warfare. The moment your heart and heaven agree, every weapon loses aim. Your silence becomes a mirror that exposes falsehood. Your peace becomes a fortress that no arrow can cross. And your endurance becomes the trigger that starts the reversal. You came here feeling surrounded, but now you see it. You weren't encircled by defeat. You were encompassed by design. You arrived heavy with confusion, but you'll leave carrying revelation. You thought God was silent. He was rearranging the stage. The entire battlefield has turned in your favor. The pain you endured had purpose. It sharpened your vision, strengthened your discernment, and purified your faith. Because the inversion key doesn't only reverse what harmed you, it elevates you through it. You were never buried. You were planted. And now, the very soil that tried to cover you will feed your growth. Every false word will turn into testimony. Every setback into stepping stone. Every tear into sacred water nourishing the ground of your destiny. Now lift your eyes. Breathe. You made it through what others couldn't survive. You didn't just endure, you transformed. Heaven never wanted you to fight harder, but to see clearer. The test was never about pain, but perception. And now you hold the key, the divine pattern that flips endings into beginnings. Let's seal this moment. Father of light, we thank you for every hidden reversal, for every closed door that was protection, for every silence that was preparation, for every wound that became wisdom. Let your truth rise through every listener. Let every trap dissolve. Let every snare reverse. Let peace flow where confusion once lived. And let justice roll through every heart that trusted you in the dark. In your name, we stand, we rise, we remember. Amen. If this message spoke to your spirit, type in the comments, "I hold the inversion key." That phrase is your declaration, your seal of faith. Like this video to amplify the frequency of divine reversal, and share it with one other chosen one who's walking through their test, so they too can see that what was meant to destroy them is already working for their good. Because when heaven writes your story, even your enemies become editors of your victory. You've seen the trap. You've passed the test. And now you carry the inversion key, the law that turns pain into power and endings into divine beginnings.